What's up, Faded Culture? My name is Alex. You know?
No. Don't introduce yourself.
Okay.
No, I'm just playing. Introduce yourself.
What's up, Faded Culture? My name is Alex. I go to Faded Culture Academy. Today we got Mr. Mendoza, and we're gonna do a huge transformation.
There you go.
Corey's gonna be doing the shear work.
And I will be doing the mid fade.
Let's get into it.
There you go. Good job. There you go. And follow Alex Fades __.
What's going on, YouTube family? Today we're going to be doing a transformation cut. We're going to be taking this long hair and turning it into what we can call a traditional just brush forward haircut with some playfulness and texture on top. And we're going to show you guys how to do that right now.
And I'll be coming in and doing the mid fade.
Just going to start saturating. I want to take some quick mapping sections real quick. I'm not going to break it down into too many crazy sections. Because we are chopping so much hair off, a lot of it's just going to be reducing weight on the sides. Okay. And then from there, we're going to decide what we're going to do with the top.
Gotcha.
I'm going to be taking sections along the parietal ridge, combing this hair forward first, real quick to get myself set up for this transformation. So I'm going to start with this radial section here, separating the top and the back of the haircut. It'll just be something simple like this.
Are we going to take this mid fade down all the way to the skin, or do you want some hair, like a #1, or what are you thinking? The picture that you showed me was all the way down to the skin, but it's your preference.
I think that's fine.
Damn, you really want to make a big change. Hell yeah.
I think it looks sharp.
Yeah, gotcha.
The contrast.
Gotcha.
So he was talking about how his head's a more oval shape whenever we were talking. So I just want to be careful along the parietal ridge. I don't want my parietal ridge or my weight to sit too far up on the top of his head because it'll make it look super rounded at the top. I kind of want to accentuate it to where it'll fill in the space that he has right here and make his head more square. No, you're good. So do you guys see what I mean here? If I were to follow the head shape, it would be almost like this right here. But I don't want to do that. I want to make sure that the weight comes out like this and it complements the haircut in this head shape. So I just want to make sure like it would be easy to take his parietal ridge part way up here, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to bring it down a little bit along here. But I want this part to be my first section. There we go. So for those of you at home, right now we are in the academy side and we have the students here with us. So they'll be asking questions throughout this haircut if they have any. Okay. Just taking 2 sections here at the top before I start.
And that's not his actual parietal ridge. Like, that's a little bit below.
Yeah, his parietal ridge is like right here. And that's where I'm gonna start actually. Let's saturate again real quick. What I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna take a horizontal section like this here to set in his weight for his parietal ridge. Okay, so that way you guys can see that. It'll be right here. And I'm gonna go ahead and come across here this way so you guys can see. Okay. Everything below this is gonna end up getting faded up. Now, I wanna make sure that I'm not taking this too short because I want this hair to be able to have movement to it. So I eventually wanna brush this hair forward, so I do wanna give it some weight so that way it's being able to do that. So I'm gonna leave some weight here. And a lot of you are probably asking, how am I determining this length? Truthfully, it's just experience. I feel confident. If you're at home and you're wondering how you could replicate this, I would always start longer and make it shorter over it being too short. We've really done a good job of mastering how to take hair off, but putting hair back on, still practicing that one.
You are bringing it down when you're cutting it, or you're taking it directly towards you?
More straight out towards the head. See how this hair can move forward like this now? Super quick. Now I'm just going to match the hair underneath that, like so. So normally if you want something to go backwards, you take diagonal forward sections if you want. Or if you're moving something backwards, it should be diagonal back sections. And if you're making the hair move forward, you're gonna take diagonal forward sections, which is what I'm doing here. Okay, good.
Nice.
Okay. So now I have this and I'm gonna use this as my guide. So now I'm gonna take diagonal back sections here, establishing the weight line here in the back. Because his head is more on the flat side right here in the back. What I don't want to do is I don't want to keep taking that weight line and bringing it around in a round shape, because you see it would come so far up into his crown. And I don't really want that. I want to maintain some length here.
Got it, Mason?
At any point, if y'all want to ask questions, y'all go ahead.
Yeah, y'all feel free. Y'all can get closer, whatever y'all need.
Yeah, I charge. No, I'm just kidding.
Just catch up.
Again, just like Corey mentioned, if you hear voices in the back, we are here live at Faded Culture Academy. So the students have any questions, they're free to ask.
Yep.
Or they get paddled.
It's normally how we do it here. So now I'm just continuously taking diagonal sections here along the back. And I'm brushing the hair down when I'm taking the section, so that way I maintain as much weight as I can here. Okay. And it's cool because this is something our students have been working on this week, so they literally get to watch it come to life. Now we can see how our weight line now is starting to sit here around the head this way. So we have something that's able to move forward here, and then as we come to the back, there's still enough weight here in the crown to keep, okay? But it doesn't conflict with the haircut at all. Okay?
And it's perfect. Now I know exactly how high up to take my clipper and my debulk.
Yep. And if he needs to touch up that work, he can touch up that work as well. Just because you put in weight or you establish a weight line with your shears doesn't mean you can't come back and refine them later, either with your shears or with your clipper. So don't feel like you're stuck in that weight line or that weight line is stuck there. You're able to play with it and move it if you need to. This is just a great starting point for us to be able to come in and start off with a beautiful base, and it gives something him to work with whenever he's doing the fade. Now I'm just gonna repeat that process now on the other side. So for right now, this is where I'm gonna leave this until the fade comes in, and then whenever the fade comes in, I'll really determining my finishing length. Right now, I just wanted to give it some.
Gotcha. All right, you're done? So I can start debulking?
Yes.
All right, let's get in there. Thank you, Corey.
Thank you, guys.
Let me get in there with debulk.
Yeah, of course, I'll be back.
Probably gonna start with my number 4 guard. Something very high, lever fully open. For this sake, I'm gonna stay right under where Corey put his weight line. Honestly, this is real long. Yeah, just for right now. Again, the weight line is just like there for a reference. I'm always able to move it depending on how I feel I need to put the fade in. He can readjust it, shorten it, whatever we feel like we need to do. Just try to get it look like he had a haircut 2 weeks ago. So right here, this is still too long. So I'm gonna come in with my 1.5 guard, lever fully open, and still continue to debulk. We should have showed Mason's haircut though. He did a good job today.
Yeah, dude. Shout out Just Mason.
Yeah.
You guys want to follow Just Mason on Instagram at Just Mason. Go check him out. He just did a great haircut today at the school. We're super proud of him, super proud of his progress. So if you guys want to follow along his journey here at Faded Culture Academy, you guys go check him out. Yeah, come here.
Just chunk this real quick, Mason. Come on, Mason.
Dude. Just Mason, everybody. Just Mason. Big Mason, not the little one. You know what I'm saying?
The big one. Now I'm gonna come in, set in my first guideline. We're gonna do a lower mid fade. So I always address our fades based off of that temple peak. So I'm gonna start my first guideline right under that temple peak, lever fully closed. What were we calling it, Ivan, about these hairs when you set in the guideline trying to... The overhang. The overhang. I've noticed like students when they first come in, being so new, setting in their first guideline. So if I set in my guideline, I always make sure I set it in and then I clean up the overhang.
Correct.
I think what's throwing off a lot of people, especially when you're first starting off, they come in and try to set the guideline like this and they leave all the hair that comes over the guideline. They're like right under it. Let me see if you can see it right there. You see all that hair? Is that show there? And it makes it a lot harder for you to see your guidelines. So I make my guideline and then clean up the overhang. Small little details. That's when I do the C-scoop. But only up until then versus trying to do the C-scoop from the very, very start. If I do it from the very beginning and that's my whole motion is a C-scoop, I'm gonna end up creating that mushroom. Starting at that same temple peak area, right under it, then I'm gonna just connect it in the back.
Yeah, if you're new to barbering and you're new to hair cutting just in general, having the tools in your hand is gonna feel awkward. Doing the motion is gonna feel awkward, but it's something that you can sit there and you can practice at home, whether you're practicing on your forearm or you're practicing on your little brother or your little sister.
Your little sister? Give your little sister a boozy face.
You know what I mean? Give your little sister a south side, but it's gonna be awkward. Just understand that it's gonna come with time. And it's good to cut around other people. A lot of people, sometimes they wanna get out of school and they wanna go jump right in a salon suite. I feel like sometimes it's good to cut around other barbers so that way you're able to gain more skill and gain more knowledge of the people around you instead of you critiquing your own work. Sometimes it's good to get fresh eyes on your work.
100%. So now, continuing the process, I have no guard. I'm gonna keep the lever in that fully open position. Coming up about a pinky finger's width, about half an inch or so. Just making sure that it runs parallel to the one underneath it. So now that I'm really seeing where my fade's gonna end up, I'm continuing with that debulking process. But at least I started safe and kept it low first. Now that I'm more sure where it's gonna end up, I'm gonna continue that. Still have my number 4 guard and clean up a little bit better. Still keeping in mind that I do want to leave weight, like Corey mentioned in the beginning.
I think also too, noticing how clean his sections are too. That's another big part of it too. I feel like whenever I'm watching you guys do sections, sometimes the section won't be to the cleanest that it could be before you're ready to move on, because it's so hard not to look at the entire haircut.
Yeah.
Yeah, just so you guys know, Sergio's still here, guys. I know you guys haven't seen Sergio in about a minute and a half.
Say
but he's still here, guys, okay? We didn't get rid of him.
I'm on camera duty today, but I'm still here.
We've been leaving him out.
I know, right? Don't leave him out, because then he goes home and tells my mom. All right, so now I got the 1 guard lever fully open, just continuing that process. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. Don't let her laughing change you. Have you cut his hair before?
Years, right? When was the last time? Do you remember?
Still in school or what?
No, it was slightly after.
2017.
Okay.
Yeah, years.
It's gotta feel good to be like seeing your students do stuff like that they're doing, you know what I mean, outside of school once they leave you.
So proud, man.
Yeah.
Super proud.
Thank you,
Makes it
man.
feel worth it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's how I want to feel about you guys
There you go.
whenever you guys are done here.
Don't say that.
Come
Why
on.
would you? The camera's rolling. Jesus, not in front of my friends.
What were you gonna say? Oh, not barber instructor, but he was his teacher at school.
He was my Avid teacher in high school.
Avid's the only reason why I passed school in general. Yeah,
I know everybody has that one teacher that like truly believes in him.
yeah.
This was him for me, so
Dang.
everybody. All right, now I got my 1.5 guard, just continuing the process. This process, y'all should have like embedded in y'all's head already.
They don't. No, I'm just kidding. But
It took us years to figure it out and it's just so simple.
yeah, like we said, y'all, PDFs are attached to all the videos that we have on school. So if you're on YouTube and you're watching this video and you want to figure out how to get into the school, please shoot us a DM and we'd love to send you the link so that way you guys can be a part of our community. All the students here are all involved in our community, and then we have students from all over the world who are on our school program as well.
Now I got the number 2 guard lever fully open. I get hot with this big old light behind me, bro.
Yeah, and the sunlight from coming outside.
True. And now I'm not really thinking in terms of a guideline, I'm just thinking in terms of creating space. Still about a finger's width, but just creating space.
You want me to take over?
No, I got it. No, I got it.
Sergio's itching to get in the video. Dang, you guys never let me cut anymore. Tell me, mom.
For real. And now I got the number 3 guard. This is gonna be the last guard I'm gonna use. From here, I'm gonna just clipper over comb. From here, I'm gonna just kind of clipper over comb this overweight. This
Oh,
little
okay,
overhang,
okay.
And then I'll give it to you.
Okay.
So by now, like I mentioned earlier, according to that PDF, we should be at the bottom part, where we should just have 2 guidelines. And I'm gonna start with that top one and work my way down. Starting with that top one that you see right here. I'm gonna start with my what? 0.5. There you go. At what? My lever position? There you go. So 3/4 is slightly, it's right between halfway and fully open. Using mainly just the corner of the clipper, I'm gonna start attacking that. When I'm creating the guideline?
Yeah, when you're creating the guidelines and whenever you're taking the guidelines out, you have the clipper angle.
Correct. So what, just to say that for the camera, so what he asked is if when I'm creating the guidelines, do I have the clipper flat? And the answer to that was correct. When I'm removing the guidelines, I come in more at an angle because again, the intent is to already start blending. I noticed that if you lay down the clipper flat, you're bound to create another line. So there it is, I softened it up. I'm just gonna continue that process all around the head. Do you mind putting your head down a little bit? And again, just staying right there where that second guideline is. Try not to chase it to go up any higher.
When you're starting to take out the guidelines, you start with the top one first?
Yes, always. I always start with that one.
Why is the reason for that?
I like leaving the bottom one because it kind of gives me a way to, if I want to compress the fade at that time, it gives me the chance to do so. The way I remove the last one is a 3-step process, starting with the lever closed. If I want to come in and compress the fade a little bit more, I can just take that first notch up a little bit more.
Oh, okay.
That lever closed position?
Yeah,
Yeah, I can just start taking that up.
got you.
Notice this half guard sometimes does create a faint line above it. Right here, it's exposing this, but I'm not chasing it. I'm still staying right where I need to be. I'll come in right now with my 1 guard and start to remove that. So just like I mentioned, I'm gonna come in with my 1 guard, leaving the lever in that 3/4 position, using just the corner. All right, so now that we finished that second guide, I'm gonna start with that initial one, which is the one that we created with the lever closed. It's gonna take me a 3-step process, starting with the lever fully closed, then halfway, and then fully open. I'm gonna start in this section, just focus here, and then move forward to the front part. I like to break this last step down into smaller sections just because this last line is so tedious. I like to take my time, give it full attention. That was closed. Now I got it halfway. And finally, fully open. Just to repeat that same 3-step process now in front of the ear. All right, now that I'm done with that 3-step process, I'm gonna come in with my trimmer in a forward position just to get a little bit closer to the scalp than I would if I were to just use it on its backside. The reason I'm doing that is to create that distinct line from that bottom hair. That way I have a guideline with my electric shaver. See that faint line right there that we're gonna use as our guide for our electric shaver.
I can see it from right here.
Yeah? Okay. I'm gonna just continue that same process all around the head. All right, so like I mentioned, that faint line that was left with the trimmer, that's my guide for this electric shaver. Right now I have both foils on the head. Cuts through it a lot faster. As I approach that faint line, turn it around, use it as if it was a pair of clippers. Be soft with it. The intent here is just to blend into the fade and not to create another guide. Nice. All right.
This is normally whenever too, you could show them the mirror, be like, hey, play around with your hair. I normally encourage them to like mess around with it.
Consultation, rapport, and then feedback.
And that is in our pillars.